death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hey, which one of you guys did that? What? Then who fired? I do not have eyes on the source of the projectile. What? Where?
Sir.
Oh. Nobody fired. No! You know what? I would be the first man glad to say that you're gonna die right now. be good. Oh, thank God it was just a dream. Hey, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you sure? I heard you panicking. No, I'm fine. It was just a dream. Oh, was it bad? What was it? It was nothing. I'm just gonna go back to sleep now. Will you sleep well, okay? We have a review to do tomorrow. A review? Yes, the Super 7 Toho Ultimate Shogun Godzilla review. Sleep well. Before we review the figure, let's travel back in time to the year 1977. An American company known as Mattel licensed a toy line by a Japanese company known as Poppy that would be marketed to customers all over the US. These toys were known as the Shogun Warriors. The Shogun Warriors were toy robots that came in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and had special toy gimmicks such as firing missiles. Looking back at them now, they probably don't look as convincing to buyers as they once did, but to children in the 1970s, they were the best toys to ask for. Why, you might ask? Well, if you should know, Transformers and Power Rangers didn't exist yet. For those of you that were here during the 70s, you may have remembered this guy, the Shogun Godzilla. He was the smallest compared to other giant robots, and had two special gimmicks for playtime: his flicking flame tongue and his rocket punch hand. And as you can tell, he doesn't really look like Godzilla. Also before this time period, there were little to no Godzilla toys being sold on shelves. So when Mattel released the Shogun Warriors line, which included Godzilla, who was taller and included more toy gimmicks than any other Godzilla toy at the time. This, as you might guess, was a positive impact for Mattel. So if you might be wondering, why did Mattel discontinue the Shogun Warriors? What happened? Well, do you guys remember the toy gimmicks that I was talking about earlier? You know, like rocket firing missiles? Well, yeah. Apparently they were considered choking hazards for children. And when a child did die from one of these toys, Mattel was in big trouble. And when Mattel was at the lowest point of the Shogun Warriors line, they discontinued the line because it wasn't doing anything good for them. And then Mattel heard a voice which said, "Use your heart, boy." And somewhere down the road, Mattel found Power Rangers and Transformers to sell to millions of children in the US. Today, the Shogun Warriors are considered great collector's items and are very hard to find, inexpensive. And hopefully they've inspired later generations with producing new toy products or even remakes. And that's where Super 7 comes in. A company that bases their products on mainly movies or TV shows. So for an example, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Transformers. Or what we're looking at in today's video, the Shogun Ultimate Godzilla. This re-release of the original toy, with the exception that it is no longer for children, but for collectors ages 14 and up. Let's start by looking at the boxes. Starting with the original Shogun Godzilla release by Super 7, beautiful primary colors found all around the box, with a lightning red theme cutting in between the primary colors. A perfect reference to the original packaging of the original toy. At the front of the box, we get Shogun Ultimate's exclamation mark. Super 7, ages 14 and up, Godzilla. At the top of the box, we get Ultimates with an exclamation mark to refer to Super 7's Ultimates wave. Other than that, that's pretty much just it about the outer shell of the box. Wait, did I say outer shell? Because that's what this is. Pulling the cover of the box off will reveal the figure through a plastic cover, then the same Super 7 and age 14 and up mumbo jumbo. But when we look towards the back of the box, we get Godzilla. Shogun Ultimate's exclamation mark. And it states that the figure can launch a fist, flashes a flame tongue, and contents. Godzilla figure 8-inch tall, tail assembly not required, which I'm guessing is to reference the original Shogun Godzilla because the older one needed tail assembly. We get these two photos of the figure that purposely references the original box. And these cool red lightning patterns along the sides of the box. Oh, and the box states once again that it's an ultimate figure with an exclamation mark. Moving on to the Shogun Godzilla glow-in-the-dark release, just about everything is a repeat of what you just saw. Only the colors before are now green. Oh look, the box states that it glows in the dark. Oh. They lied. And same idea pulling off the outer shell. Everything you just saw, except we get this cool comic glow of green. Sculpt and paint. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to see here with the paint, but what else could Super 7 do? It's supposed to be based off the original Shogun Godzilla release by Mattel. I will say that Super 7 did a great job capturing the appearance from the original Shogun Godzilla, but minus the size. Now I know a lot of you guys out there are going to be wondering, why does Godzilla look like a Simpson? If you know what I mean. Or why does he look like vomit, or that texture that you find in a protein shake? I'll explain later. The vibrant red found around Godzilla's head really complements the pukey pickle green that we see all over Godzilla's body. Nicely painted flame tongue. Eyes are menacing, with a sort of comic cartoon feel. Teeth are painted the same yellow found around other parts of Godzilla's body. And we got some red in his nose. Moving down to these pickly arms, we got yellow painted claws. Unfortunately, Super 7 misapplied yellow paint on my Shogun Godzilla. But hopefully you guys don't have the same problem. But to me, it doesn't bother me that much. Godzilla has a left arm that can fire a fist, with this little button. I will say if you are planning to leave this guy on a shelf, unequip his rocket-firing hand. I say this to reduce the stress on the spring in Godzilla's arm. so Godzilla can fire his fist as long and hard as he can. Otherwise, the spring weakens over time, after repeated stress. Moving down to these clunky legs, we got some more yellow painted nails. This is where I think Super 7 missed out on an important detail. Just for the fans.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
There's no wheels underneath the feet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Mattel put wheels underneath the Shogun Godzilla's feet in order to make playtime easier for children, since it was such a large and heavy toy to play with. But I guess I can live without them. They were pokey anyway. Towards the back of the figure, we get these spiky avocado Dorito stegosaur spikes starting from the back of the head down towards the tail, where it just stops and doesn't reach the tail at all. Which leads me to an interesting fact about the Super 7 Shogun Godzilla. Super 7 based the design on the first of 5 issues of the original Shogun Godzilla. What do I mean by that? There's 5 different types of Shogun Godzillas out there. The first issue being released in Japan, with no spikes continuing down to the tail, whereas the later American issues had spikes continuing down to the tail. And then there was some other stuff that changed, like the color of Godzilla. He became a lighter green to a darker green. And I'm pretty sure they changed the material of the lever at the back of his head, probably because many customers reported the lever breaking for earlier issues. I'm going to say that I'm glad that Super 7 based the design on the first issue. Otherwise, the tail would look only good posed one way. Now we can talk about why Godzilla looks like that. Godzilla's face here is supposed to look like Godzilla's earlier appearances in film. The spikes are smaller, probably because Mattel didn't want them that big, just to prevent children from snapping them off. Now when we take a look at the glow-in-the-dark release, everything that you just saw, but a light green color, dark green claws, nose, lips, eyes, and the same yellow teeth. He's basically the original, but looks highly radioactive. But what can it do that the original release can't? It can glow in the dark. Yes, just simply hit it with some light, turn off the lights, and it glows like a light bulb. So with everything aside, good job, Super 7. Size comparison. Super 7's Shogun Godzilla just about reaches the 8-inch mark, which means he's going to fit great in your collection of action figures compared to the 20-inch Shogun Godzilla by Mattel. Here's a size comparison with the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1954, NECA's Ultimate Godzilla 1962, NECA's Ultimate Alien Big Chap, Mattel's reboot of He-Man, Hasbro's Amazon's exclusive Star Wars The Black Series First Order Stormtrooper, and Super 7's Shogun's figure, Godzilla, 3.75-inch scale action figure. And no, I will not be taking him out of the card. Accessories. For accessories, both Super 7 Shogun Godzillas only come with the rocket-firing fist. But if you have both, you can do something silly like this. Finally, let's move on to articulation. The head swivels, you can do a full 360, arms can swivel, wrist can swivel, tail can swivel, and legs can swivel. So as far as posability goes, he's not going to really be doing the splits anytime soon, but it's based off the original Shogun Godzilla, and it too didn't really have that much posability. To conclude the review, Super 7's Toho Ultimate Shogun Godzilla is a great reaction of the original toy. Now, how much does he cost? Regular, $54.99. Glow in the dark, $64.99. And both were US exclusives, so thank you, Super 7. Also, we just hit 155 subscribers on this channel, so a huge thanks to my audience out there. Well, that just about concludes my review. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it to the end of the video, congratulations! Consider subscribing, liking the video, and turning on notifications if you want to see more. Comment down below what your thoughts were, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.